Hey everyone, we are talking today about what you're really doing here with manifesting. I'm going to break it down in the simplest terms that I feel is simple enough to really just teach us all. So we stop making this difficult. We really understand what we're doing. We're not looking for the gimmicks, the quick fixes that don't last, and really understand what are you doing internally. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Hey everyone, it's Kim Velez, Conscious Life and Success Coach, and I'm so excited to be here. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. And I'm really on a mission to help people overcome any programming that is keeping them from manifesting the life of their dreams. So we do focus heavily in this channel when it comes to manifesting a specific person or love, but this is across the board. And I know there's so much information out there that is confusing, and I'm really going to break this down not only from the perspective of being a licensed mental health therapist and really have significantly spent my entire career, which was over 10 years, of working with people suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, addiction, personality disorders, and so many other things. So I have, worked a lot with neuroscientists as a clinician and really learned about brain mapping and understanding chemistry of our brain. Now I'm not, a neuroscientist and I'm not a psychiatrist. I was a therapist and now do coaching. But one of the things that really made sense to me as I continue to evolve and grow myself in understanding what we're doing internally with reprogramming is that we're here to disrupt shit, okay? We're here to understand that if your thoughts, perceptions, and beliefs are what creating all your fucking experiences with everyone in your reality and everything that's manifesting in your life, and the game is about overcoming those limiting beliefs, the story, the reasons, the excuses why you think you won't get what you want, then the goal is to reprogram the mind to believe a different truth for yourself so that it becomes on autopilot. So I want to break down kind of how the subconscious mind works, what autopilot is, and this programming, the old programming and the new programming. So when we look at, we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts that run through our mind every single day, and 95% of them are from an old programming that is in your subconscious mind that is formed out of habit. It's formed out of habit of mentally thinking the same way over and over for decades, if not years, whatever, multiple decades. And then it produces an emotional state, an emotional pattern in us that we're used to feeling when we think of certain things about our lives. So when you look at thoughts create your feelings, then the goal is to shift your thinking so you feel differently about yourself and about what is happening in your reality or will happen in your reality. And you're changing when you're saying, I'm here to disrupt this old programming that is on its own accord. Like it's operating in the back of your mind, and it's dictating your decisions, is dictating how you see and experience things, and it's dictating your daily habits, okay? So you're disrupting that, and the way to disrupt that is to disrupt it. It requires effort, it requires consistency, it requires you to be aware of what you're thinking. This is why a lot of times hypnosis won't work for people, and it does work for people. It is not the guaranteed answer. This is why, you can manifest something in, especially those of you manifesting specific persons. Listen, I've manifested them all in 100 million times. That's the fucking easy part. It was changing how you saw yourself in relation to them so you can actually sustain and get a different type of relationship and be the version of you that you're creating this new brain chemistry, and you're lighting up the frontal lobe of your brain, because that is the creative part. That is how we manifest. That is where, when we start looking at new possibilities, we start thinking and having new perspectives, okay? So when you do that, then what's happening is your brain is starting to now, especially when you're manifesting a specific person, when you're thinking in your frontal, you're conscious, so you're aware of your thoughts, and you're thinking of a new story, you're creating new brain chemistry, and then your brain is going to go in its data, right, in the fucking file cabinet of your past, and it's going to start linking that person, the specific person, And you, in relation to them and your story of love, is going to start changing it. It's going to wire a different pathway. See, you already have an old program that you've manifested over and over that is like it's a storage, it's stored in your memory. So let's talk a little bit about memory, because when we're understanding, like when we have traumas, or whether they're big trauma, like one huge big event that changed everything, or we have daily traumas where we're in something abusive, or we're constantly disappointed, or we're manifesting in a lot of toxicity in our relationships, or we're up and down on this roller coaster of inconsistency, then what tends to happen is that those experiences get stored in your brain. And they keep reconfirming and wiring that neural pathway when you think of love, when you think of who you are in relation to your love life, when you think of how this person's going to show up for you based off your old experience with them and your experiences that most of you have probably manifested with people before them that were similar, if not the same. So what's happening is you're disrupting that, you're overriding that, because your brain stores everything for preservation, for protection, to remind you of, oh my gosh, remember this is bad, don't do this, and that's why it does this. Okay, so it's trying to keep you safe, but it's keeping you safe from an old programming that is not what you want, because it isn't your truth. So you have to create new neural pathways. You have to create new wiring in your brain, new memories, new associations, new synapses and neurons and different things firing and connecting that aren't used to doing that from your old programming, and you're disrupting that old programming with the new programming. And you have to persist in it daily until it becomes you. So this is why you're breaking the habit of needing outside to validate your worth, because that's based off the old program. The old programming says, no, the version of me is not having what they want. And the only way I know that I have what I want is if I get it outside of me. And we know that, again, if your thoughts, which are your beliefs about who you are, if they are dominantly not favorable, and you'll know based off your patterns, then we're doing more than just manifesting an experience in. You want to sustain the favorable experience. You don't want to sustain manifesting the SP back over and over, where it's continuously toxic and unfulfilling and it's the same shit you've done before. So the way to get to what you want is by changing the story of you. You're literally changing your brain chemistry, guys. It's really fucking cool that we're so powerful that we can do this. And you're going to train your mind to understand and decide, this is who I am now. This is who I'm going to be. This is what I'm choosing for myself. I no longer am going to allow that old programming that isn't my truth to stop me from living the life of my dreams, from feeling good enough, from feeling worthy. Because I'll tell you right now, when I was practicing therapy, and all the clients that I worked with, when they would have these goals, when they wanted something in their life, but they seemed to just never get it, I would always ask them why. And this is before I knew about law of assumption. I was heavily trained in cognitive behavior therapy, because to me it's very similar, if not almost identical. And one of the things I would always ask them is, well, if you want this, then how come you're over here, right? If what you want is over here, why are you still over here? Why are you stuck here year after year after year? And it was because 99.999% of them did not believe they were worthy to have that. And then they had a litany of all the reasons why they are not going to get what they want that would support why they're not worthy to have this. I'm not lovable. I'm not good enough. People don't want me. Love is hard. Every job I get, they don't appreciate me. I try to do something different, but I don't follow through with it. Like, it's just excuse after excuse after excuse, because our logical part of our mind is going to support your foundational belief of how you see yourself in relation to what it is that you want. So it's going to give you all the reasons why you're not going to get what you want. And then you're constantly producing those shitty feelings. You're producing the disappointment. You're producing the letdown. You're producing the feelings of not good enough, of insecurity, inadequacy, this not feeling valued, like all these shitty feelings, anger, resentment, hurt, just this old programming that continues. And every time you go through that, and emotionally you're creating this emotional experience in your body, you're imprinting your subconscious mind to reinforce that neural pathway, that whole network that is set up in your brain that is firing and rewiring and hardening into fact more and more. That old self-concept, that old story of all the reasons why you're not going to get what you want. So you have to disrupt that. And you disrupt that by creating the new story, and eventually you will shift your feelings. Now, all the techniques that you can find when you're Googling law of attraction manifesting techniques, law of assumption manifesting techniques, doesn't matter. Whatever technique you find, all that's doing is helping you shift mentally and emotionally into this state. You do those if you like them. You choose what techniques work for you, but you have to pay attention to your story. You have to pay attention. Affirmations are mental diet. So many people get this shit confused. Affirmations are not a technique, okay? Affirmations are not controlling outside of you. Affirmations are connecting your mind to start focusing on a different story. You're changing the brain chemistry, and you're changing yourself so you become the version that you truly are by overcoming the old version that is not your truth. So hopefully I'm not confusing people, but that's what we're doing. That's why it can take some time to fully shift into knowing this is your reality. That's why I get really annoyed, not so much now because it is what it is and people have to go through their own experience. But when I was on this learning journey as well, which I feel like I'm always on the learning journey, right? But really moving from law of attraction to law of assumption, and even in the law of assumption community, I went through it myself too. There's still a lot of confusion, and a lot of people really don't understand what manifesting is. So yes, we can think a thought and we can manifest something in really fast. And usually that happens because there isn't an investment in your old story of you in relation to that. And I use this example for years in so many of my videos where if you're like a cup of coffee, right? We talk about manifesting in a cup of coffee. A lot of people can do this really easily. Okay, well, let's look at that. We know thoughts create our reality, but you don't have a story attached to where you've manifested an emotional experiences around the coffee that have imprinted your subconscious mind over and over and created a belief for you, which now dictates your perspectives and your habits and your behaviors when you think of coffee. Okay, you don't look at coffee like, oh my God, coffee's hurt me. Coffee always lets me down. I'm not good enough to have coffee. You know, coffee doesn't stay with me. Coffee's gonna choose someone over me. Coffee really doesn't want to be with me. You know, you don't have this story around that, which is why we can manifest it in so fucking easily. And that's all we're doing. You're literally like saying, I'm overcoming any limitations in me that are saying I can't have what I want, and I'm going to reprogram it until I no longer believe that as my truth. And that's when it's on autopilot. So you're consciously choosing the story that your brain is going to focus more and more on. And this is why you go back and forth, right? Neville talks about the old man, old story, new story. You don't just instantly become the new version of you and it's solidified and hardened into fact and you're dominantly that version when you have an entire belief system and it's been imprinted on your subconscious mind 100 million times for the last 10, 15, fucking 20 years, okay? So this is why there is no one to change but self. This is why you persist until it hardens into fact. This is why you don't give up. It's not about giving up on your specific person. It's really about giving up on you and understanding that, no, I am worthy of receiving the healthy, stable, committed love that I want. And I'm going to create a life where this is what the fuck I get. And the only way I can do that is to change my thinking and create a new mental thought pattern, which supports a new emotional pattern, which is your state, and become this new version of me dominantly. And when I'm this new version of myself dominantly, then it is already programmed in me, and this is how I know it to be. And when you know it to be, you'll just keep manifesting it over and over. So this is what we're doing. This is what this whole game is about. It's not about thinking something so you can hurry up and get it, because that's the old version of you that is like, oh my God, I have to have this right now. So if you need to manifest something in 24 hours, or you need to manifest something in 3 days or 2 days or 1 day, because 5 days, because you think I need this now, if I don't have this now, or if you think if I can't do it in that time frame, then something's wrong with me, or I don't know, you have some shitty story around it, please stop doing that. You can manifest anything in a matter of seconds. You can manifest a lot of things in a matter of hours and days. That is okay, but the goal is you're understanding the internal process, the formula, so that you can redo it over and over and sustain what you want and keep manifesting in things that you want all the time. I don't want you to keep going through the cycle of losing things. So this is what the whole game is about. If your thoughts and beliefs create your reality, and your assumption of you in relation to your SP is men don't love me, women don't love me, I don't get what I want, I'm not chosen. Your SP, you can manifest your SP in every other day regularly, and you'll still have the same cycle until you've changed the story of you dominantly. So that's what we're doing here. We're creating a new memory bank. You're investing into the reality that you want to experience, where this is who you are, and you do that by interrupting and disrupting the old fucking programming that is creating you to perceive things a certain way, that creates your habits that you do daily when you think of this. It creates who you are. It's creating the experiences and how you're responding and showing up. So you're changing all of that internally, and you'll have new habits and new perspectives and new ideas and new behavioral patterns, and you'll start responding differently as you keep shifting and shifting. So there is no one to change but self. The whole game is internal. You will be the version of you, then you will do from that version of you, and you will have from that version of you. And that is the goal, and I'm excited that I can be on this journey with you. If you feel like, you know, you're really struggling with this, manifesting your specific person back, definitely get my free video training. It is in the link below. It's the #1 reason why you're not getting them back. I made it just, you know, specially for you guys. All you have to do is give me an email, and we will have it emailed to you. I've never posted on social media, nor will it ever be. So other than that, I love you all, and I will see you. Bye.